everybody and welcome back to the My Team Career Mode on F1 2022. This is episode 3 for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and in the background we are just going through what to do for this week before the Grand Prix kicks off. But while this is happening, we have some admin. We have increased the difficulty level on this save. I feel like every time we get a top 10 finish, we can increase the difficulty level a little bit, so that we can get to sort of a mid-range team. I feel like we're sort of outperforming what we should be at the moment. So we've upped the difficulty. Let's see how that works in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're just going through all of our facilities and factories and seeing what we can upgrade, what we can afford, what's going on. We've got a lot of cash, right? $7.71 million in the bank. We've got 2,320 resource points. So I think we're going to try and, you look to utilize them, potentially get that number down, get the costs, get the cash out of the facilities, and, well, get the cash into the facilities, I guess, is what we want to do. But as you can see there, we are getting quality control, which is going to reduce the failure chance on the aerodynamics. So that's going to leave us with roughly around about £3.7 million left. And then we just go through the R&D and see what's available to upgrade and what sort of bonuses have we unlocked through doing practice programs and things like that. But of course, anything we put on the car at the moment isn't really going to be affected until a couple of races time. So the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will be sticking with the same car that we've basically got. It got us a very good finish, right, in Bahrain, a very good race in Bahrain. Thank you for all the comments on that episode as well. We're going to crack on with this series. Hopefully, sort of one race a week. These videos take a lot longer to edit than anything else I do in terms of YouTube, so I'm hoping that, you enjoy the editing style and you enjoy what's coming, especially in this one. I've tried to mix up the editing a little bit different in this episode, just to sort of give some other battles across the race, not just focusing on myself as a driver, but all the battles across the race that are going on as well. So hopefully you like that. Let me know in the comments below. That would be absolutely lovely. But we're going to progress through to practice. We're not going to show any practice in today's episode. We're just going to go through the practice in a sec. But before that, this is the performance chart. As you can see, bang in the middle at the moment. Our car is bang in the middle. So we should be finishing around about 11th or 12th in the seasons. But practice is done. It was done in the background. We get a number of resource points. Everything goes pretty well. We collect it, and we need our team acclaim to get to level 10. That gets us a second sponsor on the car and increases our income, weekly income and bonus income. That is going to be massive. So we get lots of bonuses again, lots of development boosts applied, which is good. We really need some engine power, I think, is where we need to get to next. Durability seems to be pretty good. ERS seems to be pretty good. We just need a bit more engine power, and things like the ignition system will help wonderfully with that. So yes, the resource points are in. The team acclaim is done. We're still at a level 2. Enzo Fittipaldi at a level 4. Between us we have a level 7, which doesn't quite add up because that should be 6. But here we go then. Qualifying. This is where it gets really interesting in terms of the Grand Prix weekend. We're going to see what we can do in terms of qualifying. How quick can we get this car round a track of Jeddah, which is an incredibly quick track. You're flat out for quite a lot of the time. We do actually set up a custom setup as well. I practiced it in practice, got one off the internet, tweaked it to how I want it to go, and we go into qualifying. And the first session of qualifying actually goes surprisingly well, like really, really well. As you can see, both us and Fittipaldi get through to Q2, which is massive. 11th and 12th. We're like 1/100th of a second off Enzo, which is good. But missing out, Latifi, Albon, Grangio, Vettel, Stroll and Schumacher all miss out. And we get through into Q2, which is absolutely lovely. And here we go on a Q2 flying lap. And what we've done is we've gone out straight after Enzo Fittipaldi. We're going to try and use him to pull us along. So he can punch the hole in the air, and we're going to use his slipstream to try and get us, especially towards the end of the lap, pulling a little bit quicker, having a higher max speed. But as you can see, we're absolutely flying this around this course. I love this track. It's so fast. It's so quick. It's a lovely, lovely track that you can drive around. As you can see, we're already catching up with Enzo. He's not really got full power there. We can do that little bit of cheesing where you can go straight on rather than take the corner. But we come down, turning into a really sharp left-hand turn into the sort of hairpin sort of turn here round the grandstands and everyone waving at us, cheering us on as we're still catching up with Enzo, and he's going to need to put his foot down soon because we're getting very, very close. As we go left, you take a hard right into fourth gear, round the corner, through the S's, turn it left again, just clip the barrier, apparently, is what we did on this lap. And Fittipaldi still going. We're into the DRS zone now. As you can see, Fittipaldi's back wing open up just to reduce his drag. Coming in, you've got to drop the gears now, get into a sharp left, sharp right. Again, we can just do the thing the AI doesn't do is go straight over the curbs. It's very worried about floor damage and wheel spinning, but we don't worry about that. We bomb it down this straight. You look out for the building on the right hand side with the pink roofs, which we've just gone past. Get the brakes on, into third, down to second to take the corner, and look how much we've caught up Fittipaldi. We're definitely going to be out qualifying our teammate in this lap, but is he going to put in another one as he gets the rear wing open? We get our rear wing open, we're coming through, and at the moment it's Perez first, us in second, Fittipaldi in third. But as the session progresses, we drop to fifth. Fittipaldi goes all the way down to 10th, which is enough to get him into Q1. But as we accelerate the time forward, George Russell, you can see there, jumps us into fifth. We go to sixth. Fittipaldi just hanging on at the moment for Q3 in... no, he's not. He's going out, but he does get in because he finishes 10th. Charles Leclerc, Verstappen and Sainz are the top three. We actually finished fifth, putting in a quicker time on a fresh set of tyres, a 1:36.3. And yeah, both Cal Racing drivers get into Q3, which is absolutely massive for us. Absolutely brilliant. And then after Q3, we get 7th. Fittipaldi gets 10th. We actually put in a time which was nearly a second slower than our best time in Q2, which is absolutely bonkers when you think about it. But Fittipaldi and us getting through to Q3 is massive. There's not too much difference, 3/100ths of a second between us, or 0.3 of a second actually, between me and Enzo Fittipaldi. But yeah, all in all, it's looking pretty good for the race, to be honest. I did go in and I wanted to have a look how I compared to George Russell. We only used one set of tyres, but one lap time, and I wanted to keep a pair of softs for the race, totally clean. And yeah, George Russell was beating us on most sectors, to be honest. But here we go.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the Lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Elvis, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Enzo Fittipaldi, Ocon, Tsunoda, Lando Norris, and Gasly, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, and Lance Stroll, Vettel, Joe, Albon, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So fantastic that we have both us and Enzo in the top 10. Absolutely brilliant. And we're just going through our strategies here. We're going to go soft to mediums, and it's just a case of figuring out how long we want to have that first stint on the soft. So we do take a bit of fuel out the car as well, and then I decide what we're going to do is take a lap off. We're going to stop, have our pit stop on the 4th lap, and then do the remaining sort of 8 or 9 laps or whatever it is in a 13 lap race, I think, 9 laps. on the mediums to try and give us an undercut on any cars that are ahead of us. It hasn't been, well, it wasn't wildly successful in Bahrain. We're going to try it again, though, here in Jeddah and see what happens.
Here we go then. The formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right in today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
So we're hoping we're not one of those teams that have got it horribly, horribly wrong, although we have changed the pit strategy. It's going to be very interesting to see how that works, but it is mightily impressive to see us lining up behind two Mercedes cars, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell ahead of us on the grid, and then it's the two Red Bulls and the two Ferraris up there, as well as all the grids are filled. The back markers are in, the two Williams at the back, bless them, propping up the formation lap. And here we go then, looking for 5 red lights, and they are now out. There we go. We're underway. We're off. I mean, Fittipaldi gets a fantastic start there on the left-hand side to get past the Alpine as we're coming through on the right, and we've overshot the brakes straight away on the first corner, but we haven't really lost too much position. It's only our teammate that's got in front of us, so we're going to be chasing down Enzo Fittipaldi on this first lap as we're coming through here, and you can see an AlphaTauri's made his way through as well. And I think it's Pierre Gasly sitting behind us. You can just see in the rear view mirror that I've added on just to make it a little bit easier, because obviously I can't see the wing mirrors in this view. But we're now chasing down Fittipaldi, who's got to try and keep pace with George Russell ahead of him. And we've taken the first few corners reasonably well. No damage picked up, no danger there, as early on we're looking to make a move on our teammate. Get team orders in it, get him out of the way. But we go into the first long left-hander here, as Enzo Fittipaldi still holding on. He goes a little bit wide, and we're just trying to keep pace with that leading pack. Can we do it? Fittipaldi looking to turn and twist. We take this corner very wide. We try and get back on the racing line. It nearly gives time and space for Pierre Gasly to get past, but we managed to fend him off. And as we come through into the first DRS zone, obviously not activated yet, activated on lap 3, we are just about keeping pace with Fittipaldi, who is losing ground to George Russell. We take these corners really well through the slightly slower S's, and then into what would be the second DRS zones we come through. Look out for the buildings with the pink roofs on the right hand side to then count down a braking point from there, and you get through. And Fittipaldi, we catch him under braking, and if we can take this corner well, we may get him on the start finish straight. We're going to get a good slipstream off, and we have a really good traction out of that corner, and we can say farewell to our teammate. We are on the soft tyres. He started on the medium, so we're going to have a little bit more pace than him because of those tyres. But as we start lap 2, we're back up into 7th place, sitting behind again George Russell. We do seem to have a nice little battle building with him. Only after a race and 2 laps, we seem to have a battle building with George Russell, which is lovely to see as we turn around here. But further up from us, on lap 3 now, we see Charles Leclerc trying to make a move on Max Verstappen, and he tries to get round him. Verstappen holds on into the tight left-hander. He goes down onto the start-finish straight, I think this is. Can Charles Leclerc make this happen? He's going to open DRS because this is lap 3, and he's got the pace. He's going to surely easily get Verstappen on the soft tyres with the DRS. We switch to the view of Verstappen, and Max Verstappen might hold on here. Charles Leclerc's going to have the inside. Verstappen still battling, trying to just squeeze him out, get the elbows out as Charles Leclerc is coming around the right-hand side. Verstappen's going to have the inside line again, but Leclerc's trying to close him off on the second corner. Leclerc makes that one stick, and that is a great move from Charles Leclerc. A lovely battle all the way up and back. Further on lap 3, we're still chasing Russell, as those two will be just coming to go through the start-finish straight. We're still trying to keep up with George Russell, and we will be going onto fresh tyres pretty soon. Lap 4 is when we're scheduled to go in, but as you can see, we're still trying to battle Russell, and Russell puts the brakes on very heavy, very hard, nearly going right up his rear, and luckily we just avoid a collision and don't manage to lose too much pace. I think it may have been Hamilton that originally put the sort of brake check on there, but luckily us and Russell avoid a collision with either us or Lewis Hamilton as well, as we go into the tight S-bends again. We are keeping pace with Russell, which is good to see, although we are fully on our battery. We are dumping our battery on this lap, and it's a bit of a worry we're not catching him quicker with this battery deployed. Obviously, we don't know if he is deploying his battery or not. But as we come in to the tight left-hander, this is where Charles Leclerc will make his move on Max Verstappen as we jump forward another lap, and this is where you'll see how close we get to George Russell. Like a proper racing driver, we are right behind him in that slipstream, and we're going to try and make something happen just before we get to the start-finish straight. Can we make something happen before we go into the pits? I don't think we're going to do it, but it's good to see the pace we can have. We can drive really close behind Russell. The dirty air isn't affecting us too much. It's not making us lose that much traction. And we are matching pace right now with the Mercedes, which is absolutely brilliant. But as you can see, it's actually Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton and us come into the pits on lap 4. So can we get a good stop? Hamilton can pull into the first entrance pit there, then Charles Leclerc, and we've got to go all the way down the other end on the pit limiter at 50 miles an hour and then pull in. And before we even got to our pit stop, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are out of here. They are ahead of us. We have a good stop though. It's a really good stop. And where are we going to come out? We're just again keeping pace with Charles Leclerc and Hamilton after that pit stop. Pretty much the same order we all came in on. And we're going to come out into the midfield just in front of a Williams. Oh, just in front of Sebastian Vettel in 12th. We find ourselves in 11th against Schumacher in front of us. And Vettel is looking to try and get his nose in and make a move. And it's actually pushed him really far behind. There was no gap there for him to go to. But what we've done is come out behind Mick Schumacher, who has put a little car between us and Hamilton, and that could give Charles Leclerc and Hamilton a chance to get away. But Charles Leclerc is going pretty slow, and Hamilton is keeping pace with him. That Ferrari is an absolute blistering machine in a straight line, but everyone seems to be sort of concertinaed behind Charles Leclerc. He's not pulling away. He's got him, Hamilton, Schumacher, us, Vettel, and then I think it's Bottas behind him as well. And everyone, yes, look, it's Charles Leclerc that's causing the problem here, and Hamilton can't get past him. Maybe it's tyres, maybe he's still warming up his new tyres that have just gone on. But talking to Charles Leclerc, there must be a problem because we've caught him up and we're going to make a move as we go in. We just get that one wrong, but we're going to try and keep with him here. Hamilton has got past him. The other guys have pitted, so we're sort of in our own little pod now at the front of the race, and we're really desperate to catch Charles Leclerc, and we are coming round. Look how close, again, we're racing behind him. We're really not getting any effect of that turbulent, dirty air, but look how close we are right up his gearbox. Can we make something? If we can keep this gap going into the DRS zone down the start-finish straight where we are now, are we going to make a move? We're trying to just keep the slipstream as long as possible. We go on the right-hand side. Can we get the brakes on? Can we get it done? Yes, we can. And we brake nicely going into the first and second corner. Although Charles Leclerc takes that corner better than us, but we get the elbows out. We force him wide. And once again, we're chasing down the Mercedes cars with a Ferrari now behind us, which is absolutely incredible. George Russell up in 5th, us in 6th. And once again, we see this battle between us and Russell going again. Although Hamilton has an error and it puts Russell in a mistake and we nearly go wide. We're again just avoiding an accident. We pull wide. Charles Leclerc dropped off massively into the distance now. Nearly 2 seconds behind. There must be a slight issue with his car. We'll see if Ferrari can get that fixed. But you can see there in the top left, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th is Leclerc. And this is Fittipaldi all the way down in 10th. 12 seconds behind us. And he's in a bit of a battle at the moment now with the AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda. And Lando Norris is there as well. And Fittipaldi managed to hold on at the moment. Fittipaldi still coming through on the start-finish straight. Norris looking to just rein him in with DRS. Obviously, Fittipaldi doesn't have it. But both the AlphaTauri and the McLaren have it on Fittipaldi. He's managed to fend them off at the moment as we're turning into corner turns 1 and 2. We come through and it looks like Norris is positioning himself really well. But for now, Fittipaldi has held on to that position. And if he can secure some more, as many points as possible, that would be absolutely brilliant as we're sticking with this. And Norris is still eyeing up this move. Fittipaldi doing really well to hold on. But hang on, because higher up in the lap, we are now approaching George Russell. And we're going to go for a huge dive bomb. And can we make it stick? We can. There's no connection. And we absolutely get Russell, who's also lost out to Charles Leclerc, who maybe has recovered that engine now to full capacity. And we're trying to get to Hamilton. I don't think we're going to have the pace. You can see me checking behind to see what Leclerc and Russell are doing. And luckily we take turn 1 really, really well as Leclerc still battling with Russell in the rear view mirror. We're closing in on Hamilton. And if you think about Hamilton, Sainz, and then I think it's Perez in front of him as we don't really battle Leclerc on the next lap. Lap 12, we just let Leclerc go because we haven't got the pace to match, and we're just focusing now on keeping George Russell behind us as Leclerc hopefully will pull us along with the DRS and the slipstream. We were about a second and a half away from Hamilton, so we weren't getting DRS, which allowed Leclerc and Russell to catch up with us as they sort of switched behind the DRS zone, switching up their positions. But it's these corners here, I really like these corners, we can take them well, and as long as Leclerc and Hamilton don't mess up their braking, we stay reasonably close in those corners. But with 1 lap to go, pretty much 1.5 laps to go, it's absolutely intense. We can see that Norris has got past Fittipaldi in 8th position now. Russell in 7th, about half a second behind us. We're about half a second behind Leclerc at the moment, who on these DRS straight zones is just absolutely pulling away from us. And this is the final lap, and the guy we're tracing, Charles Leclerc, just sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which isn't a wonderful sign to see. And as we now go into the cinematic views, you can see we've put a little bit of a gap between us and Russell. We're trying to hunt down Charles Leclerc. I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to get a bit of a DRS train sort of happening in this time of the lap, where everyone's so close together, everyone gets DRS, and it makes it a lot harder for anyone to overtake anyone else. But you can see right now we are really mastering this track. I mean, we should do. We've done loads of practice sessions, 3 qualifying sessions, and we're on our final lap of this Grand Prix. As we have a little look up the inside, we're too far away to get it done on Charles Leclerc though, and he rounds that corner, still chasing Hamilton. Is there going to be anything dramatic at the end of this Grand Prix as we come round through the long, quick corners? We're going to have a sharp right now, into the sharp left, sharp right, and then into the DRS zone as we just hold it away from the board. And we're just coming down. It's just frantic. It's absolutely frantic. Everyone's got DRS open. We're absolutely flying down these straights as we watch this. And we can't quite get at Charles Leclerc. We go again, trying to get as much of an advantage as possible by taking the corner at as big a speed as possible, which isn't always the best. Sometimes slow in, fast out is better. But you can see it is very, very tense going into the final corner, into the really tight hairpin here. I think Charles Leclerc has just got enough about him to avoid us, but we try and have one little look round the outside. We have to swing it back. That's going to be it for us. But Charles Leclerc with DRS on Lewis Hamilton. Can he get 3rd place? Verstappen wins it. Perez, no, Sainz, sorry, is there. I think it's Verstappen. Verstappen well out in front. Absolutely unbelievable race. Oh my God, Verstappen wins it. Perez in 2nd, and I think it was Carlos Sainz who nicked 3rd, but I think Lewis Hamilton missed out there on 4th. I'm not too sure.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
So there we go, then it was Verstappen 1st, Perez 2nd, and Carlos Sainz in 3rd. Quite a battle to the end of the race as well. We should see the final standings, see where everybody finished up.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Today's performance means that Max Verstappen now owns top spot in the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And Red Bull take over as championship leaders. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So all round a very good race. We sit there in the 4th position of the Constructors' Championship at the moment, sort of battling more with Haas and Alpine, but there's a decent gap between us and Haas below us. Williams and Aston Martin picking up a grand total of 0 points between them, but very interesting to see that it was Lewis Hamilton who pipped Charles Leclerc to that 4th place, I think it was. But you can see that we're 5th in the Constructors, and Lewis Hamilton got 4th, Charles Leclerc in 5th, Enzo Fittipaldi finishing 10th, which is lovely. Does get us a point, just keeping Pierre Gasly at bay. So we go into the team acclaim. As you can see, we're getting ever closer to that 10 rating. We just need to get that to get a bit more money coming in. But all in all, a very good, very exciting Jeddah Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia. Really, really good. Next up is Australia, and I'm looking forward to that one. The track has changed a little bit this season. for Australia. We'll have to see how that goes, but a sort of half street circuit, half racing circuit, and it goes very, very well. But we go and we have to plan our activities. We'll do that in the next video. You can see our comparison there is still bang in the middle, though Alpine have just gone potentially above us as well. We're looking at the R&D. Here again is the performance chart. Everyone sort of flattens out and plateaus at this point. It'll be interesting to see who brings upgrades to Australia. But coming in to Australia with a 5th place finish and a 6th place finish, we are putting ourselves into a good position for this championship. But as again, we will be increasing the difficulty for the Australian Grand Prix because we've got a top 10 finish. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Keep the support coming on the channel. Share it, spread the news, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.